Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, introduce me Farah Salsabila from HAMKA Biology Education. I will explain the material about plant anatomy. Let's go. Plant anatomy is the study of the physical structure of plants. Plant anatomy is divided into three parts based on the hierarchy in life, namely 1. Organology, studying the structure and function of organs based on the constituent tissue. 2. Histology, studying the structure and function of various tissues based on the shape and role of the constituent cells. 3. Cytology, studying the structure and function of cells and organelles in them, the process of cell life, as well as the relationship between one cell and another. Cytology is also known as cell biology. The basic tissues that make up the three main organs of plant, the roots, stems, and leaves. Anatomical difference in roots. A decoupled taproot. The boundary between the root tip and calyptra is not clear. The pericycle consists of a single layer of tissue-walled cell. The location of the transport bundle, the secondary roots, is collateral. The xylem is inside, the phloem outside. Has a narrow pith or does not have pith at the root center. The pericycle from root bearings and can from secondary meristem, such as cambium and cord cambium. Cambium appears as secondary meristem. The number of protoxylem arms between 2 and 6 is rarely more. Fibrous root. The boundary between the root tip and calyptra is clear. The pericycle consists of several layers of tissue-walled cells. The location of the transport bundles between xylem and phloem in the old roots remain alternating. Has a broad pith at the root center. Pericycles only from root branches. Does not have cambium. 3. Wear a lot of protoxylem arms, more than 12. Roots have tissues composed of epidermis, parenchyma, endodermis, wood vessels, and feathers, cambium in dicot plant. Anatomical difference in the stem. The trunk is not branched. Hypodermis in the form of scleroderma. Transport vessels scattered. Does not have vascular cambium, so it cannot grow largo. The pith is indistinguishable from areas of the cortex. There is no cambium between xylem and phloem. The decoupled, branched stem. Hypodermis in the form of scleroderma. The vessels are spread out in a circle. The radius of the pith is raw. Has a vascular cambium so that it grows bigger. The cortex and pith areas can be distinguished. 3 is cambium between xylem and phloem. The stem has tissues composed of epidermis, parenchyma, endodermis, wood vessels, cambium in dicot plants. Anatomy difference. Mesophyll parenchyma is general undifferentiated into a network of poles and sponges. Indical. The mesophyll parenchyma differentiates into a network of poles and sponges. Life has networks composite of epidermis, network pole, sponge network, vessel network. There are several tissues in plants, namely meristem tissues or embryonal tissues. The cells are meristematic. There are classification based on 1. The differentiation of division is able to divide. Mitosis. 2. Origin and development of cells, namely isodynamic, spiral, oval, and polygonal. 3. Plant position is a compact arrangement without space between cells. 4. Tissue function is a thin meristem based on origin and development. Among others, polymeristem or primordial meristem, namely at the point of growing at the ends of the stem or root. Primary meristem, which comes from the polymeristem, can split in all directions except cambium. Secondary meristem, derived from primary permanent tissues, which has the potential to split when injured, and the formation of secondary growths or corks. Meristem by position, among others, apical, grow point at the tip of the stem or roots. Intercalary are between permanent networks, example at the base of pine leaves, grass internodes, and equicentrums. Lateral, parallel to the organ axis. It divides presinally or radially, while the anticlinal becomes secondary permanent tissues or cambium and can cause the stem to widen and expand. Meristem by function, among others, protoderm, become an epidermal tissue system or epidermis. Basic, become a basic network system, namely the hypodermis, cortex, and pith. Procambium, become a network of cells, namely primary phloem, primary xylem, and residual procambium, or secondary phloem and xylem. This meristem includes the apical meristem. Meristem based on the direction of division, among others, meristem, cleavage in all directions. Meristem rib, the division is anticlinal about the longitudinal axis or grows in a row downward. Meristem plate, the division of the anticlinal against the parallel cell layers is the development of the uniserate epidermis. Yes, there is basic network, among others, parenchyma, different from the basic meristem, namely cortical parenchyma, pits, love, and flower mesophyll, fruit seeds, around trigally or space between small cells, namely parenchyma, aurenchyma, idioblast, and hemilenchyma. Collenchyme, live cell with primary thickening, namely cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. Serves as an amplifier and protector from mechanical interference types of collenchyma. 1. Angular or angular parenchyma. 2. Parenchyma lacuna. 3. Parenchyma plane or lamellar. Sclerenchyma. Function in mechanical terms. Two types of sclerenchyma are sclerate or new cell. 2. Fiber or fiber. Complex networks, among others. 1. Xylem as wooden vessels. 2. Phloem and secretion tissues, namely the tissues that secrete various substances including internal, external, and lateral. Life anatomy. Tissues has three tissues, namely dermal tissues, mesophyll-based tissues, and vessel tissues, xylem phloem. In the dermal tissues, it has an upper and lower epidermis, whereas in the basic tissues, the mesophyll can be differentiated and undifferentiated. Differentiation occurs in palisade or pole tissues of 1 to 2 layers and in spongy or spongy tissues. The location of the stomata. The upper epidermis or adaxial side of the left is epistomatic. The lower epidermis or the abaxial side of the left is hyposmatic, for example, sauropsid plants. In the upper and lower epidermis, the left are amphistomatic. Flower anatomy. On a decal, the main parts of the flower that is in the spotlight is the crown or corolla and the petals, which has parts of the strands called petals. The strands that make up a flower crown have a fiery white shade and fierce color. In monocot flower have 3 or 6 strands. Example, rice, wheat, and corn. Anatomy of the rose. The rose is a type of scrum that belongs to the genus Rosa. Roses are categorized into 4 types, namely scrub roses, tree roses, and dwarf roses. The anatomy of the rose at the root. Roses have roots that are long to the bottom and are also fine striking. The color is brown with round and elongated shape. Rose roots are used to support all parts of the body so that the absorption of nutrients and water runs well. On the leaves, the shape of the leaves is small, round, elongate, a little pointy and jagged. Their size ranges from 2 to 3 centimeters. It is compound because it consists of 5 to 9 strands on each part of the branch. In the flower section, roses have a pistils and stamen. It is rounded and multi-layered with the number of crowns ranging from 20 to 26 crowns. Seed anatomy. First, the seed pod. Location on the outside of the seed and covers all part of the seed. Second, hypocotyl. The lower part of the axis or base which is attached to the cotyledons. Third, radical, terminal or tip. Fourth, epicotyl. The tip, namely the shoot with a pair of leaves. Cotyledon, part of the food receptors. Monocot seeds. 1 peach. There are endosperm. Food for embryo growth is obtained from endosperm. Decoupled seeds. Into pieces. No endosperm. Food for embryo growth is obtained from cotyledon. Fruit anatomy. In general, the fruit develops from the female genitals or pistil, which is called the ovule, which contains the ovule. A complete fruit is composed of seeds, pulp, and fruit skin. Fruit skin that is still easy has not experienced this separation. After cooking, the skin of the fruit can be divided into 3 layers, namely, epicarp is a hard and impermeable outer layer. Example, coconut fruit. Mesocarp is a thick and fibrous layer. Example, the fibrous ones are coconut. The fleshy ones are mango and papaya. Endocarp is the innermost layer composed of a very hard and thick layer of cells. Example, fighting, namely coconut, in the form of a thin meal of fruit anatomy. There are papaya. There is a cucumber. In apples, there are. In the manga, there are tomatoes. So many explain about plant anatomy. Hopefully, what I have to say is useful for all of you. Sorry for the shortcomings in the explain. That is all and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.